All right, here we go. This bar is the worst. All right, we're live. Nobody say anything naughty. All right, if you want to create something from scratch, you have the ability to hit create a design, and then you can search for a suggested layout. So that means I know I want to create an Instagram post. I can click on Instagram post. It's going to take me to a blank canvas. Other things you can do in here, like really anything. You guys see all my graphics I put out for classes. To remind you guys, Molly uses Canva all the time for our all day, every day. Yep. Email signatures, stickers, anything. So anything you can think of designing, probably that format, that layout has already been created for you. So we're going to talk about starting a project, how to use the editor, the content that's in Canva's library, accessing content, elements, text. So there's a ton that goes into creating something from scratch. So I'm going to just do an Instagram post for the fun of it. Other thing I want to mention is you have a custom size option. So if you guys have something that's a special size you're creating, when you hit custom size, it's going to ask for the dimensions, but chances are what you're looking for is probably already pre-formatted in here. So when I click into a blank design, right-hand side of the screen is my blank canvas. Left-hand side of the screen is all the cool stuff I can do. So tabs on the left. This is usually how I teach command too, if anybody's been to the command class. This probably looks pretty familiar to command. So our eyes are kind of trained to go to the left-hand side for all the tools and options, the editing features. And then the right-hand side is that canvas where we're going to design. So top left corner, design, elements, text, brand. We're going to go through most of these, not all of them. Anybody have questions so far? What's up, Marianne? Marianne, she's just giving me grief. All right. So on the left-hand side of the screen, this first icon that says design, if we get in here and we look at this blank canvas and we're like, oh gosh, I don't have it in me today to start blank. I should have chose a template. Guess what? You can still choose a template once you're inside here. So it's showing us right here at the top. Very similar to that search on the homepage, use 5 words to describe what you're looking for. Just listed. Awesome. All those templates are right there. Love it. So the biggest tool in here, and again, you can search by any keyword you're looking for. It's also going to give you some suggestions as you start to use this. You'll notice that things real estate related might start popping up for you guys. Elements on the left-hand side is where we're going to spend a lot of time, because this is really what makes Canva, is just the access to all of the different elements. So when I say element, I mean the content library. So that means an element could be an image, it could be font, it could be a graphic or sticker or a little animated something that does this when your reel plays on Facebook. And as you search inside of elements, you're going to see that you can click through the different categories. So if I wanted to put a flower on my design, right now we're looking at all different types of flower elements. But I can go into my categories and look at just flower graphics. So a graphic it could be an illustration. It could be, like I said, a sticker or an animation. So the difference between a graphic and a photo, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's the same thing. So a photo, we'll see when we get in here. Oh, hang on. That's weird. Are my photos? These are graphics. So a lot of the times when I go into photos, it's going to show me just like this is a photo. And these little guys are elements. So you can also go into different videos. So if you guys wanted some movement in your post, you could use your video of flowers. And when you are looking to make something a background on a blank canvas, I'm going to show you guys this again. When you click the element that you want to be your background, and I start to hover over it, you can see it get big, and that means we're dropping it in to the back. So that's going to live as my background. Yeah.
So the elements that are up at the top, right, are they any different than the toolbar that's on the side. Like, so if you put photos up there and then photos down on the left-hand side, if you scroll all the way down, are they any different?
Photos here, or where's the other spot you're
On the
talking
left-hand
about?
side, going down.
Under uploads?
Maybe if you're in, I don't think it's you're like regular uploads.
So you can upload your own files. Maybe yours looks different than mine. Okay.
Sorry.
No, if it pops up again, let me know. But I do like to always point out to everybody, instead of just clicking on your background and then stretching it, right, to fit in the spot. Let me get back to this. So I don't want to stretch this. It's not going to fit the right way. So you can actually drag and drop what you want to be your background, and it'll size it in appropriately for you. Drag and drop, Marianne. Yep, kind of hover over. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other elements in here. So if I scroll down and I look at shapes right here, so tons of stuff you can do with like lines and shapes. For example, when I add a shape to my design, we're now going to talk about the toolbar that exists at the top. So a lot of these elements we can play with once we choose them and add them to our design. Once we're done picking from the left-hand side, we get to go over to the right-hand side, and then we get to do whatever the heck we want with this shape now. So there's all sorts of stuff that you can use with the toolbar at the top. So for example, color, that's easy peasy. You can also do things like match colors. So if I drop this photo in, I'll talk about layering in a minute. See how it's now giving me photo colors? So it's matching it for us. It knows that my photo that I've dropped in, it's picking up all the hex numbers of the colors that exist in that photo. So now I can match my element perfectly to my graphic. So maybe I want it to be this color. I also have border style options. So if you guys hover over, or I have a lot of people who are like, I don't know what it does. If you hover over each of these icons, it's going to tell you exactly what it is. So match the color. Yeah. So in order to get that color matching option, we've got to have something to match it to, right? So I didn't have a photo before. So what I did was I dragged and dropped my background image in, Kristen. And I hit layer here because it put it on top of my shape. So when you right click and say layer, send backwards, it's going to put it behind the shape. And then when you click onto the shape to change the color, it's going to show us, here's those colors that it's picking up from that background. Transparency options I love in here. So a lot of the times we are layering, right? So when anybody sees the 3 little dots anywhere, that means more options. So anytime you're in any site, anywhere, the 3 little dots is going to give you more options or more actions. So when I click this, this is the transparency tool. So the little fading tool there. I use this all the time. So a lot of the times we might be like layering text on top of a picture of a property that we're listing. So we kind of want the property to still be there. We want to see it, but we want the text to pop up off the page. So transparency tool is something that I use all the time. So it kind of fades it out. And if this was maybe black, we wouldn't want it to be so bold. You can kind of fade it out so it just layers over your image. Love the transparency tool. All right, back to elements. Any questions about shapes? Pretty basic. So we've talked about shapes, photos. We've talked about graphics a little bit. So again, if I go in and I say, I want a flower graphic, it's going to say, all right, here's your different categories to find flowers. So Marianne, when you're in elements and you search here at the top, got it? Okay. So you can do some other cool stuff with animations. So if you were creating an Instagram reel, which I'll show you guys in a little bit, you might want one of your elements or all of your elements. If you drag and drop across your entire design, it's going to select everything for you. And maybe we want to animate those two elements. You can have them pop into this in all sorts of different ways. So this is really fun when it comes to designing videos because you can have things strategically coming in. So first your background's popping in, picture of the house, then just listed's popping over it. Then, you know, the neighborhood's popping over that. So you can do some really cool layering. And to be honest, most of the time when I'm creating a design, I click on like 7,000 of these to see which one I like better. I don't know what I like until I click on them all. So don't be afraid to click everywhere, play. We've got speed tools in here. How fast do you want this to hit the page? Do you want it to be slow-mo so that people are like, oh, what's it saying? Or do you want it to bounce in super fast? Go ahead, Abs. Yep.
If you only want to select a couple things rather than the whole thing, which I struggled with, is using shift and click. I don't know if you have any.
Shift and click. Do you mean shift on my keyboard?
Yeah. Switch. And then you only select a couple of them.
Yep. Or you can do, I think control might work too. Yeah, shift worked for me too. So that's a good one. So if you guys just want to click on certain elements, if you hold down shift on your keyboard, you can choose what you want to click on.
Since you have so many things on there.
Yep. And a lot of the times you're going to be having a lot of different elements inside of a design. So this is a great thing to talk about right now too, this group button. When I hit group, it's going to make both of those elements, the shape and the flower on top of it, group together. So now I can move them as one. If you don't want to constantly be having to readjust and move your shape and your flower, you can group them, move them together. If you decide, actually, I don't want my flower inside my shape, you can ungroup and move your flower to the bottom. The grouping. So you'd select the elements you want grouped. So for example, like Gabby mentioned, I can do shift, click on my flower, click on my shape. Once I've clicked on the elements I want to group, then it pops up. Yep. Here. So all the other stuff, a lot of it that you would normally see if you right clicked. So the layering, aligning elements, really cool too. So if I wanted these two things to be aligned and I selected them both and right clicked, center, it's going to stick them centered. So you guys aren't doing this all the time. Oh. And then when you click on this, you're like, where's that little pink line? Can you guys see that faint line? Let me change my background because it's hard to see with this. So when you're dragging stuff around, these little pink lines are telling you your positioning, right? So this is centered for my shape. If I want this to be aligned on the left side with my shape, you're going to see those little dotted pink lines. If I want it centered, you're going to see the pink line become solid. You don't want to mess around with dragging to get it perfectly centered. You select your elements, align elements, center. Does it for you. Love that. Anybody have questions so far? Okay. So text. This is not the cutest thing I've ever designed, by the way. It's beautiful, right? Maybe I want to add some text in here. So I'm going to get out of elements and I'm going to click into our next tool down, which is text. So everybody knows all about adding a text box. We have to add text box to AuthentiSign all the time, and it's a pain in the butt. Same thing here. Drag and drop. Maybe you need a heading. Drag that baby in. This toolbar should be pretty familiar. It's pretty like universal. We've got our centering, bullet points. We're going to talk about some different effects and animations here. If you want this text to be bigger, you can do one of these. I like this because half the time I can't see what I'm doing, so you can zoom in. So what else can we do with our text? We've got the effects tool up here. This is going to allow us to do some kind of cool stuff. So again, playing around, if you want to use your thickness tool, you guys can see exactly what that's doing on my screen. Your brand kit, yeah, I can talk about that for sure. So adding fonts that you guys use all the time. You can add your text styles. So if I'm changing my text up here, I can add into my brand kit what I'm using all of the time. So let's see here. Marianne, how do I add it to my brand kit though, once I use it? Yeah, right here. Oh, I see. But how do you get it to stay in there? How do you get it to stay in there? Is it in your settings? Okay.
It's on the screen and then there's a spot where it has brand.
Okay, we'll go out to the home screen in a second then. That's up to you, Marianne. That's a good question for Google. Complementary fonts. Yes, that is true. You do not want 12 different fonts on your design. So that is why I usually tell people to start with the template, right? Start with something that's been pre-created for you because it's probably going to look very visually stimulating to the eye already. So if you don't have that graphic design running through your blood, a template's going to be a great place to start because you're going to look at it and be like, oh, that looks good already. I don't need to fix anything. This looks awful. I would never create anything from scratch. I always start with a template. But if you guys have that, the tools are in here to build something. If you want to do the research around, all right, what catches people's eyes, by all means, go for it. See what they suggest for number of fonts, see what they suggest for how long a reel should be. I know like videos on Facebook, like people's attention spans are this these days. So don't do anything over 10 seconds then, you know? We'll go back out and look at the branding in just a second. So you guys have tons of different stuff you can do with your text box. I also want to point out that on the left-hand side, when you're adding text, you've got some cool selected text for you. So this again is another way to be lazy because they already look pretty cool. So instead of you trying to figure out the font and the shadow and the color to put behind something, you can add text that is already fun and looking good. Somebody just have their hand raised. No. Okay. So play around with your text and what you like. When you click on the text too, you guys have the option to animate the text again, just like we did with the images whenever you want things to pop in. If you're clicked in on your text box and you hit the animate button, you can have your text enter, which is actually pretty cool because when the video's playing and the flowers are blowing in the background, you can do some kind of cool stuff. There is so on YouTube too, I'll send this recording out, but there's a Canva Basics tutorial on YouTube that I watched a week ago to make sure that I knew everything that I wanted to teach. And it goes through all of these different features. Oh, here's our brand kit right here on the left-hand side, everybody, under the word text. So if you want to add anything to your brand kit, so I've got logos in here, you can add your colors, brand colors, shuffle. Ugh, no. Then I think that you can add, maybe you have to go to the homepage to add them in here, but they'll live right inside of this brand section. So if you are using certain colors with your logo all the time, we can make sure that they live inside there. Uploads section. So here's the wild team. There's Lee. If you guys are pulling in images from somewhere besides Canva, you can upload them right here and they will live in here forever and ever and you can reuse them. That's my mom. I just made a retirement party invitation in Canva. They'll live in here forever. So just kind of like the brand kit, anything that you're uploading here is gonna sit here unless you delete it.
Is there a way to folders in there? feel like I can search forever. Find my
What you uploaded.
folder for logos, pictures, or.
You can add, I know you can add tags because I've done that. So maybe move to folder. I don't know if this will move the whole project.
I think what's important. Canva is that the file name is recognizable. So when you go to search.
Yeah.
So like how I do it, all of you are first name, last name, stars, or shots. So when I search your name, automatically. So don't just put an untitled design in there, because you'll never have the.
Good point.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
That's a lovely point because there's Corey's face right there. I searched Corey, his file name was Corey Wild, and there he is.
As just the download, then when I upload it to Canva, that's exactly how it's gonna show. Untitled or download it, whatever.
Yeah.
So then you need to before you.
So, and to do the tags, you did what again?
Right click on the photo right here and hit add tag.
Photo.
Yeah. Or if there's things that you're using all the time, put them in your brand kit maybe. We'll look at the dashboard. I just want to get through the last couple things on here and we'll go back out to the dashboard. Yeah, I would say if you're using things often, that maybe keeping them inside the brand kit just for easy access. Or name, like Molly said, naming them. Draw tool's kind of fun if you guys are looking to doodle on anything. Got your doodle tool, pretty basic. You can use your eraser over here to get rid of it. Any of your projects that you've been working on are going to live inside here if you're looking to bring up a different design. And then you've got some different apps that you can integrate inside of Canva. So when I look at my design here, a couple other things I want to mention to you guys. If I want to duplicate this design completely, I've got the duplicate page button up here. So when you see those two little icons layered on top of each other, that means create it again. You can also just add a blank page. So if I don't want to duplicate the design, but I want something else added to it, I can just add a blank page.
Why would you need to do that?
Why would you be adding pages?
Yeah.
To,
Why would you?
so if you were building something that had like multiple slides, so if this was like an Instagram post and you wanted 5 slides in a row or images in a row, you might be duplicating to have like the same background, but then change out like, you know, the content on that background just to make it easier on yourself. Yeah. I do a lot of duplicating when it comes to just like templates that I use, like the basics of it. I just want to duplicate that and start with my fresh template.
Or if you want to like edit it, say if you want to change something about that, but you're not sure if you're gonna like it, rather than
Yeah.
having to switch back and redo it again, you could just duplicate it, try what you're thinking, and then delete it if you don't want it.
Yep. I do that all the time because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can have like versions for yourself, and then it's easy on the eye to go back, you know, up top to bottom and see what you like best. So to download your design, at the top, there's a share button. I've had like a lot of people call me about this because they can't figure out where to go to download. So your share button is going to give you options to directly share your design. So you can link your Instagram account. So if you wanted this to shoot straight from Canva to Instagram, we should do that for our new Instagram. You can connect your account. If you just want to download this graphic and share elsewhere, there is a download button. This is a video I just created. You guys saw me dragging the video with the flowers. So it's the file type is MP4 video. That's the suggested file type. If I didn't want those flowers to move and I just wanted them to be the flower background, you've got some other options. So your file type is going to depend on what format you picked originally. So if I picked an Instagram reel with movement, it is not going to download as a JPEG because a JPEG is just a format to share on web. It's not going to do any movement. So JPEG and PNG are going to be best if you are just using them for like digital or web marketing. If you are printing something, You're probably going to want to use one of these PDF options. They're just a higher quality. So PDF for print. And then the other thing that I will mention here is when you guys scroll down, if you are printing a flyer or something, you've got this color profile drop down. So RGB, best for digital use, it's telling us right now. And then CMYK is best for professional printing. So you see that little crown there, that means you've got to have the paid version to use that setting. Will your flyer look good enough in RGB? I don't know. That's for you guys to decide. Try it. That's what I'm saying. Try the free version. If you like it and it works for you, stick with the free version. If you're like, nope, that could be better, do the 30-day free trial in Canva and see if you are actually using what it offers. All right. Any questions before I actually create a pretty design? This is just for you guys to kind of see all the odds and ends that exist. Yeah.
Can I while we were in the sharing
Mm-hmm.
part of it? So if you have like your logo and you want to have no background, so it's not white, so you could share it on different things. There's a part where you can do transparent, so it'll get rid of the white in the background.
Yes.
Is that like the magic one?
I will show you guys. So a couple different things here. I want a white background again, get rid of all my stuff. Okay. So for example, this morning, I removed the background from a bunch of headshots. So a lot of the times we just want our heads chopped out of what's going on behind us, or we want something chopped out of the background. So there's a couple different things that you can do here. So I know exactly what you're talking about in Share Abs, but I want to show this quick first. So with the paid version, if you want to remove a background from a photo, drop the photo in, click on it once, and you've got this edit photo button, which I don't think I talked about. So I'm glad we're here. Under Magic Studio, you've got the background remover. It's got the little crown. Phew, magical. Love it. Favorite. There's also free background removers. Like if you Google like transparent image or like make my photo transparent, you're going to get a number of sites that pop up where you can just upload your photo and it'll remove the background, but they are not as good. Sometimes you've got to go in and like get around the little hairs and stuff, people's heads. So I don't know what that means.
Move the background.
Sure, you could put it on anything you want. If you remove the background, you can put the house on a beach. You know, like if I clicked on his head and then I clicked edit photo and it's background remover. So like Marianne mentioned, if I come to elements and I search beach, again, right click to layer. So it's putting it on top of Corey. We want it behind him. So we click layer, send it back. Corey's gonna hate me. Look at that handsome man. And now he's on the beach. So you could put anything in your background once you remove it. So what'd you say? I know. Lee, you should send him a picture of it. Tell him he's at the beach. Yeah. So what Abby was mentioning is when you go to download, right? So just because I removed the background from my design doesn't mean that the background's going to download transparent. If I go to share and I hit download and I download as just a JPEG or a PNG, he's going to have a white background behind it. So when you're downloading, you've got to make sure it's just under the PNG design, doesn't have it under JPEG. So these are both image file types. You can click on the transparent background. Yep.
If you're doing it with video, but you like animated the words, or
Yes.
something like that, how would you download that?
So that would have to be downloaded as MP4 or GIF. I'm not going to say it right. So a GIF, but some people say GIF and it's like a big argument. So we're gonna call it a GIF. Yeah, so like my little stuff that I post on Facebook where it's just like one element that's like waving back and forth constantly, that I would download as a GIF. There's no sound to it or anything. It's just the little movement. If it's a video, if it's got audio in the back, which I'll show you guys in a few minutes, then you're gonna want to download it as a video.
So if also if it's like the video is 20 seconds of the flowers kind of.
Yeah.
That would have to be video.
I think if it's got like multiple elements that are animated, moving, music, then a video would probably be best, yeah. All right, anybody have any other questions or stuff that I don't know that you can teach me and the class? I love it when people teach stuff. Nothing? Tips, tricks? Okay. All right, I'm gonna head to the homepage then and we're gonna create a little reel. Brand. First, we're gonna take a pit stop over here to brand because we've been talking about it. Brand kits. How do we add to our brand kit? Is anybody else baffled by this or is it just me?
I was doing it on the, when you're working on a project.
How did you do that? Will you show me? Let me go back to a design. The Wild Home Team. Okay. Should I like add text? Brand. Yep.
And then.
How do I add a color? Uh-huh.
You see,
Is mine different? Do you think it's because maybe I have like the Canva business? That's why I'm
like,
yeah, please do.
because I was.
No, actually. Everyone get this? Bob and Irene?
Oh, so yours is different. So the way that I was doing it is. I just added the colors, so colors. Yeah. I can put like all my. Yes. So. This is.
You have an actual like add button.
No.
Yeah, because you have the whole thing where if I color really has.
So you go edit, and then you add different ones, and you save. So. See.
I don't have
Are
it.
you on a paid version?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Really?
go to the
Yeah.
homepage,
I
And
am.
then go to the brand. And then click on that KW right there, click on that.
Yep.
And then you can add things in there.
That's so weird. I think it might be because I'm part of like my project. See that I'm KW Rock. So I think that I'm working. Yeah. I'll figure it out. All right, I'm gonna bring everybody back in for a second because my screen might look a little different than yours. So everybody, listen up. My brand kit's different than your brand kit. I'm part of this KW Rock team. This is KW Rock Team's brand kit. I'm wondering if you guys probably will just see personal. That might be where I am having issues. And because I don't pay for a personal command or Canva account, that's probably why I can't get in there. I have like our project paid account. So my brand kit looks a little bit different than everybody else's. You should be able to add colors and text. Bubby, what are you doing? What's up, girl? Okay, thank you. Thanks, Marianne. All right, so back to it. We've got 13 minutes. I can go over if anybody wants to stay for questions. I can stay and chat. I'm going to create a quick Instagram reel. So you guys can follow along and create a reel yourself, or you can tune me out and go ahead and create your own design, whatever format you want. A reel. Go to the search bar in the top right corner under Create Design and type in Instagram Reel. gonna bring me to this lovely blank design that I can't stand. So I thought this would be a good example because a lot of us obviously have photos for our properties that we have taken and uploaded to the MLS. They might not be in video format. So a lot of the times we're just uploading 5 pictures of a photo or putting them on a flyer and it just sits there and it's like, cool. If you want a 5 of your photos to be a reel or a little video with music and look like an actual walkthrough of this house, you can make that happen. So you don't have to have like a virtual tour just to post an animated short video of a property. So what I'm looking at right now is my blank reel. On the bottom, I've got 1 page so far. I'm going to add photos right now and I'm going to turn them into my reel. Anybody does this a different way, please let me know. So I'm going to go into uploads here. Wonder if I can switch back into, I want to switch back into my paid account so I get all the fun stuff. Goodness gracious. I'm going to go into my uploads where I've pulled in some photos from the MLS. Shout out to Team Hilbert. This is a pretty cute looking house. So I've pulled in just 4. I'm going to use 4 of these images for my reel. Just like I mentioned earlier, when you want to make something the background, you can drag and drop it in. So I can start there if I want to start from scratch. To add my next page or my next, my next transition, I'm going to bring them inside and I'm going to drop the living room in. So things look a little squeezed right now. That's okay. So the point of it is to layer more over this. So what I would prefer to do is go to designs and go to just listed and pull in something that already exists and start with that. So that way we can drag and drop our images in 1 by 1 into a template that already looks really good. So in here, I've got all my editable text. I don't have to pull in any additional text boxes. I can just start from scratch and start moving stuff in. So I did one earlier that was just a single image that I really liked. Maybe I can find it. There it is. Okay. So that was not it. Hold please, guys. I played with so much stuff this morning. There it is. Okay. So what I've done is I've grabbed a template, dropped my image in, and then I'm able to edit my text. This is page 1. So I'm going to show you guys quick what this is going to look like. So it's going to transition through all of my photos here. This was already created. I just need to put my photos in. So to do that, I came over to my uploads and you can see on the bottom that it's taking me through each slide. So we're going to start with just making sure that each of our slides looks how we want it to look. Then we can add the transitions and the music and stuff. Yep.
When you say it was already created, was it already created by someone? Or was that
A template from Canva. Yeah, I just liked this one because it was 1 image. The one I pulled up before had like 17 images on 1 slide, and I don't have time to pull 17 images from the MLS right now. So this exactly, Bev, I looked under just listed under the templates, and this was just one of the real templates that I liked. Yep. I'm in Pro right now, but you can do this in regular. Yep, there's just some of the elements you might not have access to in regular. Yep, exactly. So I've dragged and dropped my first photo in here, and then I can add and swap out all my details just by clicking on the text box here. I've already added it in here. At the bottom, I've got my info, and you're going to go through each slide 1 by 1, and maybe you're changing the text at the top. I am not here to like tell you guys like what gets most hits or the best way to write your just listed post. This is just solely to show you the tools to design. You can write whatever the heck you want on these reels. So I dropped in my photo on each slide. And then in between each slide, this is like the part that really makes it what it is you've got this little sparkle icon. So that little sparkle icon means what's happening between slide 1 and slide 2. So it's bringing us into these transitions on the left-hand side where we get to choose what happens in between the slides. So when you hover over them, it's showing us what they do. So if you like this little circle, how the next slide kind of circles in, you can choose whatever you think looks best to you. And then how fast are they moving? So this is kind of what makes it like a little video instead of a slideshow. So the time in between the transitions, I've got each photo or slide set for 2 seconds. You can change the time right here. So this little timer clock, I can say, I actually want 6 seconds in between. You can apply 6 seconds in between each transition here. So now it's going to sit here for a lot longer. We can quickly look at something. Like it doesn't take me 6 seconds to look at that photo and be like, oh, I like that house, and see Tiffany Hilbert's name in the bottom right-hand corner. So watch it yourself and see how quick, like, you know, or send it to your friend and be like, is this enough time for you to see what this, you know, like what this says? Or Google it and see what the internet tells you, see what they suggest. So you've got your transitions that are really cool. Just like anything else that you're editing, we were just playing around with putting shapes and stamps and words. You can make all of this transitionable or animated. So just because we're creating an Instagram reel, that doesn't mean we can't use any of the other elements that we just found out about, right? So confetti. Maybe I like this little confetti cannon. You can add whatever you want, and it's just going to be layers on top of layers of these elements that you're adding in to make it fun or to make it you. Let me get back to my, and you can also, I think I just changed my view of it. You can go up and down or side to side. Downloading, you're going to want to download as, I don't want to hear it anymore. You can download as a MP4. Amanda? Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. So elements, audio also lives in elements. So when you type in audio, the only thing is I think on like Instagram, because you can create a reel directly through Instagram as well. And I think that there's some editing functions, but not all the editing functions, but you can choose a song that you know, that we all know, like type in the artist. You cannot do that on Canva. But what you might be able to do is download the reel without music and then put it to music once you put it into Instagram, I'm wondering. Yeah. So I just put this little instrumental in here. So if you guys are looking to add audio that's not like, you know, Taylor Swift, you're not going to find her on Canva. But if you type in happy music, and then here's my audio category, I can hit see all. I can add whatever music I want. And then you can move around where in the song you want it to play. That's lovely. That really makes me want to buy that house. Or like I said, I know Instagram, you can pick a song. So if there's like a sweet song that you want to jam to your listing reel, upload this to your Instagram and then choose the music once you're inside of Instagram. I just am guessing Canva doesn't have like the rights or their permissions to be able to pull in, or maybe that's an add-on or something that you can pay for. Really? So like if you upload it with a song already, yeah, Instagram. Yeah. I don't know if, I'm assuming since these are just like weird little Canva like tunes that you wouldn't get flagged with anything like that, but anybody who's like who owns the rights to their music, you're probably going to want to add the songs from Instagram. What's up, Lee? Yeah, so you can share directly to Instagram through Canva, or you can download it and then re-upload it into Instagram. Yeah.
When downloading, you just have to be careful because if you don't make sure it's high enough resolution and you post it on Instagram, it'll be blurry. So in the download section, it'll show the quality and how many, whatever that's called is.
DPI or something.
Yeah, and I always pull it to the very top, but it takes longer to download, takes up more space.
Mm-hmm.
But it's better on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, so this 4K right here, you can see it just changed from 1080p HD to 4K, which is going to be your highest resolution. And it's telling us right now too, it's like, hey, why are you downloading this? You know, you can connect your social media account and just post it right to Instagram. So there are some options to post directly to Instagram. But my suggestion would be like when you're playing around with Reels or any of the formats in Canva would just be to get familiar first with all of the different tools and how to use them. So go do exactly what I just did, play with it, layer stuff, do animations, and then might take you time and time again to make it look how you want it to look. But once you get acclimated with how the tools work, then you're going to be like, I know exactly what I want on that post. I know that I want, you know, movement and I want confetti and I want music and I want this. So there's a lot to take advantage of in here. I think it's just getting used to all the different things you can do. If you guys forget how to get to something, if you're like, man, I really want that text to, you know, slide into, I don't want it to just be on the page. I'm a firm Google believer. Like everybody asks me, how do you know so much stuff? When I meet with you guys in my tech appointments, I really don't know a lot of stuff. I really Google everything. And I watch a YouTube video and I love to do that. I'm a researcher, so that's how I learn and I can come back and teach you guys. But if you forget how to do something, Google will tell you. There's like a step-by-step article for every, you know, how do I do this in Canva? It's going to pull up screenshots and exactly how to do it. And there's way more stuff than this. This is like, this probably seems overwhelming, but this is the actual basics of Canva and just some of the stuff you can do. Does anybody have questions? Like an email blast that like Molly would send out? I think so, because I believe MailChimp can support any format. So you could probably email one out. I don't know necessarily like how that would end up looking in an email because this is meant for social media, but we could test out what embedding a video in an email looks like. Yeah. And if it sizes itself right to the email. Hi. Uh-huh. If you wanted to upload the video into Canva, yep, you can go right into your uploads and you can upload videos. You can upload audio too. If you guys had like yourself, right? You record yourself and you're like, go on a tour with me or whatever. You could put your own voice to this and upload your own audio. That could be kind of cool. Yeah. But I love the templates. I always start with the templates. You guys just saw what I can do from scratch. It's not that good. And all of this stuff that exists on this template already, I'm able to make changes to. So if I wanted to edit this photo and put a filter on it, you can add your filters. You can add shadows. I like the blur sometimes. If you're doing add blur to whole image, you can change the intensity. So if you want your text to kind of pop off the page a little more, you can do some kind of fun stuff. I don't love that for this, but you've got all sorts of different tools that you can use. If you're like, oh, I don't like the black background here, I want it to be red, great, change it. But it at least gives you every single element in here you can move around. And if you're sick of trying to move everything around separately, you guys can remember that little group I showed you and you can move it all at once. What else you guys got for me? Anything, anybody? Is anybody gonna use Canva this week? Postcards. So if you want to target a neighborhood, we've got a really cool campaign feature in Command where you can do a direct mailer, circle a neighborhood, choose how many people you want it to hit. You've got some different filters. I want to reach people who live in this area, who live in 4-bedroom homes, whatever. You can create your content in Canva and you can put it in Command. So I have a lot of people who don't like designs in Command. That's totally fine. You can create your content anywhere you want and then put it into Command for the other cool stuff that Command offers, like paid ads, direct mailers. So you don't have to design inside Command. Command? Yeah. Yeah. So it's not gonna be like, here's a list of mailing addresses, but it's like Realist, when you circle around an area. So if I wanted to hit my entire street, 49 West Main Street, and I want to hit my whole street, I drag around it and it's gonna pull up all these little dots, right? I can click on a dot, it's gonna tell me that address that it's going to. If I don't want it to go there, I can remove it. But yep, it's gonna target for you. You don't print it. You don't see it unless you ask for a copy to be sent to you. Yeah. You pay in Command, yep, at the time of designing it or targeting. Yep.
And it's very cool because you can filter down to the properties that you want to send it to. Like that they haven't, that they sold.
Yeah,
like 10
last
years
sold,
ago,
yep,
Price and owner occupied. Like that.
single family or multifamily.
How much is it per piece?
My gosh, you guys never saw my post about this? It's 74 cents a piece, so you can create the postcard and have it printed and sent out to a neighborhood for 74 cents a piece. What's a stamp cost right now? So it's being printed and sent for that price. What's up, Bev?
A bigger size.
Yep. You can do, yeah, the 4x6, what is it? What's a regular one? 4x6 by 11, I think is the bigger one. You can only do the two sizes, like a standard size, and I think it's 6 by 11 is the bigger size. And that's the only thing that they're doing with real mailers in Command right now. You can't send a flyer, you can't have them send a letter, but you can send a postcard for 74 cents a piece, which is cheap. So it's pulling the addresses and names for you in Command when you target the neighborhood.
So what's the video where is it so we can watch?
The direct mail video, it's on our YouTube channel. Yeah, so if you guys go to KW Rec Resources under training, you can go to our video library and find it. And I have a class on campaigns at the end of the month. So if anybody's interested in learning how to do that, I'm teaching it at the end of the month. Pretty cool. The only thing it's not going to do with your direct mailer, like Realist, you can pull a list and say, I want these addresses, and you can pull an Excel sheet. Command's not going to let you keep that Excel sheet. Nope, it's just going to let you target. You can't download so if you wanted to like put all those people onto some other type of campaign or put them in your database, I don't know. You can't transfer those addresses to your database. It's just for targeting. Yeah, no, don't do that. It's just for targeting the neighborhood. Yep. Yeah, like you have to go through and like click when you're targeting to see the addresses, but it's not gonna like pull a full list or anything. I don't remember. I don't think you have the option because I think in like Realist you can do tax, help me,
So what
tax
the bill
billing.
is owner. So you might.
Want to play with that? Yeah. I don't know though, if it's gonna give you the option to,
Yeah,
if it is like a rental, I don't think it's gonna, yeah.
but that is way easier than getting lists or playlists. I did for all of it.
Oh, Amanda.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Anybody else have questions? No,
Thank you.
you're welcome. You guys can stick around if you want. I'll send the recording out to everybody after. Thanks for coming. You're welcome.
Good.